Hello, welcome to the United Man. My name is Shane. Bruno Fernandes, the deal is close, ladies and gentlemen, nearly over the line. Today we're going to be going through what we know so far about the deal. We're going to be going through some of his stats. We're going to be going through what he could potentially bring to Manchester United. So, Bruno Fernandes, what do we know so far in this transfer saga? Always a transfer saga with United, as you know. Right, so first of all, we know that Sporting Lisbon wanted around 65 million euros for Bruno Fernandes. We also understand that his agent confirmed to him, that was on a pitch, I believe, on their last game for Sporting, that Bruno Fernandes will be playing in England next season. Bruno Fernandes also made a statement to Sporting fans saying that he will be leaving Sporting, and he thanks the supporters for his time in Sporting Lisbon, and also that he's fulfilled his potential there and would like to take his talents to another stage. Now, the interesting part is the fact that Sporting themselves, they wanted the deal closed. They went to Bruno Fernandes' agent and said, look, we want this deal done. Clearly, they're thinking about reinvesting the money or back pocketing it, whichever it is. But yeah, they themselves have come out and said they want to get the deal done. They want it over the line. They know he wants to go. They know he's leaving, so let's get it done. So subsequently, Bruno Fernandes' agent came to England and visited Spurs and also Manchester United in a bid to basically get the deal done. However, we do know that Bruno Fernandes would prefer a Manchester United move. He's come out and said himself that it's the part of the reason why he'd like to come to Manchester United is because of the rich history of being winners and also the mystique of the club. Not too sure what the mystique part of the club is, but there you go, it's all good. And also that the deal is fully expected to be done before pre-season starts, which is the 1st of July. Now, that gives us a week or so to get the deal done. So far, it's not been very encouraging. Did want to touch upon the concerns of that, but I'll do that later on in the video. Just wanted to touch upon some of Bruno Fernandes' statistics from last season, which are highly impressive, as you probably already know. But just to go over some of them again, we'll start with, we know he's 24, not going to be 25 till September this year. He's very, very, very versatile. You guys probably saw him, those of you who watched him last season, you would have seen him mainly operating in central midfield, that of more of an attacking free role, slightly more favoured towards the number 10. Also has operated off the left side of midfield, sort of as an inverted winger. Does or has occasionally played within that central role, within a 3. For example, when he played in the for Portugal over the last few weeks, he was operating slightly off the right or was drifting wide, and we've seen him getting crosses into the box, which he seems to be quite accomplished at as well. He just looks highly versatile, which is incredible for someone that's sort of gone under the radar, really. If you think about it, his name hasn't really been bandied about over the past couple of summers. So yeah, brilliant. I think the flexibility key of his positionally is brilliant for Man United, because it just opens up so many other avenues whereby, for example, if we were to keep Paul Pogba, where you're going to play him, he can operate in 3 or 4 different roles successfully. So I don't really think he's the kind of player you can plug in anywhere and he'd be highly effective. Not just do a job, be highly effective. So coming up next, we've got the stats and what he could potentially be doing for Manchester United next season. Before we get into that, just wanted to remind you guys, if you're new to their channel, subscribe and also like and share, because I really want to get involved with the community in regards to all things Manchester United. If you're returning as a subscriber, appreciate you coming back. Right, you're going to love this. If you haven't seen Bruno Fernandes' stats already, yeah, hold tight, because the guy's incredible. So, his season stats were incredible. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's the Portuguese league, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if you're scoring and you're making goals, doesn't matter where you are, it's not easy. Putting the ball in the back of the net is one of the hardest things. Putting people through for opportunities to score and them actually scoring is probably even harder. So, because you rely on them to finish off the move. But anyway, starting off, he's played 53 games. So clearly he's consistent, doesn't get injured very much. Scored in 32 occasions of those 53 games. 32 goals for a midfielder, which he is. He's not a Cristiano Ronaldo-esque or Messi-esque or Neymar-esque, where essentially those guys are actually strikers but just drop deep, whether it be left or right. No, he's a midfielder. You'll see him in the centre of the pitch. You'll see him defending right back position. He's on the right, left back, he's on the left. He's a midfielder. 32 goals in 53 games as a midfielder. He has assisted on 18 occasions throughout those 53 games. So he obviously makes lots of opportunities, but is obviously putting people in a position to score as well. He also likes to put his foot in because he's been yellow carded on 16 occasions, but no red cards, so he doesn't overstep the line. He obviously just puts his body in a way. So he likes to put his foot in, a bit like Scholes did. Not necessarily being the best tackler, but does try. So with that, over those 53 games, because he's scored on 32 occasions and assisted on 18, he's nearly scored or assisted a goal nearly every game. So that's an incredible return. So I don't want to hear people saying, but it's in the Portuguese league. Listen, I play semi-professional football as a central midfielder and as a right back myself. And listen, scoring goals, I got the odd goal from running late into the box, but scoring goals is the hardest thing to do. Give the man his respect and his due. What impact will he have on Manchester United? So he'd add much needed creativity to the side. There's something we've been lacking for such a long period of time, as you know. He would, even if he's, for example, not creating the goal, he'd make a run to create space, i.e. drawing a defender away from where the actual ball is. He'd make a movement off the ball, taking a defender away. Because of the danger that he possesses, he'd take a defender away with him, thus creating more space in other areas for another person on the ball. He's direct. He's got a very direct approach. If there's an opportunity to shoot, he'll shoot. If there's an opportunity to put a through ball through or create another opportunity for another teammate, he'll do so as well. Dangerous goal threat, as you can imagine from the 32 goals from last season. He's clearly a goal threat. The next thing I put down is a set piece specialist. He's a goal threat, not just from open play, he's a goal threat from set pieces as well. He can use both feet very effectively. Now, that's golden. There's not a lot of people that are very effective on both feet, on both sides of the pitch. I noticed he has a very, very quick first step. That meaning he puts his body in a position to make an opening for either a pass or a shot. So he'll just create just an inkling of space, enough to get off a shot or to create an opportunity for a teammate. So he's very elusive. He makes things that are hard look very, very simple. And when it is simple to be played, he plays that simple pass or that simple ball. As I mentioned previously, he makes intelligent runs. Those runs either allow people to find him in the goal scoring opportunity, or as I mentioned previously, takes another defender away to create space for the ball carrier. That's crucial and is often underestimated, because if there's so much congestion around the individual with the ball, he's not going to be able to, he's going to get clustered and ultimately end up giving the ball away. So makes intelligent runs, not just to always receive the ball, but acts as a decoy as well. As I mentioned, with the 16 yellow cards, he likes to put his foot in. I remember watching one of the Portugal games and I seen him drop his foot in and I was like, listen, if you're going to be our guy, you can't be our guy injured, so just be careful. He likes to put his foot in, as you can see. Needs to be careful because as one of the star creative players, you need them to stay on the pitch. But as I said, 53 games last season, played in all the games, so not likely to get injured very often, which is great. Above all, he has a very high footballing IQ, which allows him to make the right footballing decisions and the right footballing plays. Can't be overestimated what just being an intelligent footballer does for you. There's so many players that have played. Always use Teddy Sheringham as an example because he wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the strongest, he wasn't the quickest, but his footballing brain was second to none, and the intelligence allowed him to be a professional footballer essentially, which just goes to show you don't need to be an athlete to actually play football professionally. It's the intelligence, it's the brain for the game. So he has that in abundance, and I believe that'll make a lot of people around him a lot better. It will force them to be better. It's just like you play with better players, your game seems to raise, your ability level seems to go up. So yeah, I'd love to see him in and around the players that we've already got, as well as the new ones that we look to bring in. New ones would be nice. Anyway, just wanted to touch on those bits about Bruno Fernandes and the qualities that he can bring. Wanted to bring to you guys' attention, made a video on Manchester United Pyramid all-time greats, which will probably sit up there now. So yeah, I wanted to bring your attention to that. Made a video on that. Quite interesting to make that one as well. Put a lot of effort into that one because it's the decisions of who sits top tier, number one, who goes in second tier. We've had so many great players. I've done it over the last 25 years of Premier League years. Let me know what you guys think. Did want to touch on a couple of other bits as well. Stick with me here. This is in regards to an underlying issue, the transfers. Can we trust Ed Woodward? He's been at the job for quite some time now. I think it's 7 years he's been at the job, and it's not been very good. It's not been very good. More often than not, we've failed in transfer market, and that's what we're doing now. So the transfers are taking too long. Solskjaer would have given him his targets maybe 4-5 months ago, I reckon, or certainly when he signed up to say, yeah, you're going to be Man United full-time manager. That now it's a case of he's going to be, essentially he's not going to be getting all of his targets, you'd imagine. You have to give the guy the opportunity to do the job by bringing in the players he's asked to bring in. He's obviously going to try and implement a new system at Man United, but he can only really do that successfully with the players that he wants to play in that system. So far, he's got one player in Foley, which ain't good enough. Now, I believe the director of football is something that we've all harped on about, and the fact that it's not happened yet kind of tells its own story as to not just Ed Woodward, it's the other people in and around. He's just the face of it all the time, because we know he makes most of the executive decisions. The fact that we don't have the right footballing people in place kind of says it's now ignorance. It's the fact. It can't be the fact that he doesn't know. He's been there long enough. There will be people around him telling him. You've had Fergie telling him about a director of football who he should bring in, and apparently an argument broke out between the two of them. So it's now just coming down to ignorance and the fact that he don't want to relinquish any power to anyone else in regards to decision making. That's what it could be at this present time. There is a need for a director of football, and it's been identified now as an actual need. But what's happened? Nothing's happened yet. So it just leads me to believe that he doesn't want to relinquish any power to anyone else in terms of decision making. Now, one of the reasons that would be beneficial to him to put someone else in that, despite the obvious of bringing in the correct players at the correct time, is the fact that the blame wouldn't be placed solely at his feet. Now, currently, everything that doesn't happen or does happen that goes wrong, it all ends up at his feet. So the sooner we can get everything done, the better. But at this stage, as I sit here in front of you now, I'm not confident at all. It's been such a long time, and we've got one deal over the line. Everything else is taking longer. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, we've been scouting him from the beginning of the season, if you believe what you read. Wan-Bissaka, same thing. Daniel James, same thing. But, obviously mitigating circumstances with Daniel James with his dad passing away. But that's the only deal we've got over the line. All the rest of them, he's known about tons of the deals for so long, and why is none of these deals ready? Look at Real Madrid. Their window opened up 2.5 weeks after us, and they've gone boom, 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 4 or 5 players in already. So I don't know. It's just not filling me with confidence, and yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think about Bruno Fernandes and his impending move to Manchester United. If you would like to comment because I really want to know what you guys think of what type of impact he is going to have on the club. Okay, take care. I shall see you soon. God bless. Bye.